All I remembered at that point was finding myself alone. Oh. Oh, my head. Where was I? It was so dark. There was something by my feet. A flashlight.
Stick it up your ass and pull the fucking trigger till it goes.
Oh yeah, I forgot. This game works by arrow keys. Can I use controller? Wait, why is my controller not powered on at all? My controller's lights are not working. Another thing to freaking deal with. That house, where was I? There was a body lying on the floor. Who was it?
Oh, yes!
It was Paul Bear. Meow. Was that Void? I noticed that I limped as I moved down the stairs. How did I hurt my leg? I wondered. All I could really recall was coming home, seeing Rachel. I was upset. She looked afraid. I shook my head and tried to clear it. I knew I should head downstairs, try to find a way out. I looked like hell. My clothes were dirty and torn, and there was mud caked all over my shoes. The bathroom was incredibly clean. Every surface had been thoroughly wiped, and nothing seemed out of place. There was a photo development tray lying on the floor. Some leftover negatives were sticking out, but they were pretty blurry. I thought I saw what looked like treetops. Treetops from Spyro? The front door was blocked by a pile of furniture. I knew I had to find another way out. I thought someone in chat did that. The door was taped up and seemed to be stuck. By the smell, I guess it led to the kitchen. Damn door was locked, but it didn't look like there was a keyhole. Maybe I could find another way to open it. It wasn't you. I actually thought that was a soundbite. A thin gray mouse was stuck in a trap. It looked frantic but exhausted. Did I free it? Yes. A collection of rusty tools. These looked like they'd seen a lot of use and were caked in damp-smelling dirt. Why weren't they in a shed? Found a picture of a couple. It looked like it had been moved a lot. There seemed to be a switch behind it. Did I push the switch? It depressed smoothly into the wall. I heard a faraway click somewhere. Like that. Yeah. Kind of like that. The shelf was full of books on local history and hunting. Seemed like the owner of the house really knew the area. An old dining table covered in dirty dishes for 2 people. There were dozens of beer cans and other liquor bottles among the dishes. The smell was turning my stomach. A black and white photo. Looked like the man upstairs and his wife, I guess. There was no reason for me to keep this. Did I take it? I slipped the photo into my pocket. Maybe this would help me find some answers. That's the one you wanted. Clicky. There were scribbles of all kinds on random scraps of paper and notes about some kind of water tower. Did he mean the one by the old train yard? The man's face looked like the man in the photo I had found.
Coal train runs on whole grain, baby! Whoa!
Was it the coal train? The desk had a computer and some papers on it, and a single drawer. I didn't want to snoop, but did I open the drawer? Receipts, pens, and a blurry photo. It looked like a store of some kind. Why did this look so familiar? Blood on the wall. It smelled fresh and sickening. I realized there was blood on my shoes and pants. Oh man, I had to get out of there. I gotta figure out where that click. There was a click behind the painting. What did that open? Oh, it took all the boards off the wall? Interesting. There were sheets of paper all over the kitchen table. It looked like a series of names were written down, but they were too smudged to read. I can only make out a few of the notes. Key card, locker, last one, I promise. Didn't make much sense at the time. Key card, locker, last one. Oh, there's the mouse. Be kind and see the results. Achievement unlocked. The smell of old dishes and moldy food was dizzying. The switch in the wall appeared to have unlocked the door. The box looked heavy, but there were marks on the floor. It had obviously been moved before. Maybe I'd found a way out. I must have moved it, right? I heaved the box forwards and it finally gave. There was a ladder going underground where the box was. A dank smell rose from the passage. Did I climb down the ladder? I looked again at the photo I found in the house. The couple looked distant, like they didn't want to be in the same picture. I wondered where the wife was. My leg was in terrible shape, but I had to get out. Footprints in the dirt, looked like more than one kind, and a lot of traffic. Places all over were marked on the old map of town, the industrial area near the river, various houses, and even the water tower near the old rail station. Newspaper clippings from the local paper. They were all about murders in town over the last few years. Wait. There were photos of our house. What the hell was that about? Maybe I should have looked around more, tried to find some kind of information. A work table covered in papers, dirt, and a handgun. I hated guns. I didn't take it, did I? I tucked the small handgun into my pocket. Its weight was somehow reassuring. It was so dark down there, and the air smelled stale and putrid. I couldn't believe what I saw. What was this place? What the hell is this place anyway? The desk looked old and was caked with grime. On it was a stack of old faded paper covered with what looked like names. They were scratched out, and illegible notes were written beside them in faded blue ink. I could only make out a few letters. Heather, Iv, E, L, R, F, all row. None of it made any sense to me. Some kind of homemade rack, slung together with poorly cut wood and rope. It was caked with old blood. Somebody didn't actually use that, did they? Crudely made shelves. They looked like they were holding cans of some kind of corrosive. The labels were worn and slick, but I could still see the warnings. It looked like a cage. It was small, but there was something coating the bottom. Something wet. Some kind of old boxes. They looked like they were years old. Wait a minute. These boxes had old clothes in them. Clothes I remembered throwing out after Rachel and I moved to town. What the hell were they doing there? I remember noticing the broken ladder. I had to be careful. I don't remember if I jumped down there or found another way. It looked to be a long way. Did I jump down? No. Maybe there is some other way to get down there without risking any more injury to my leg. There was a rope hanging there. I wasn't sure how sturdy it was. Did I take it? Maybe the rope would make that broken ladder easier to descend. Ooh, scary. I had the rope now. There must have been a use for it around somewhere. Jill, grab the rope. The rope I found would have let me climb down the broken ladder safely. Did I climb down? I could hear a faint hum, and the smell from before started to get worse. Hey, kitten. How are you? A bunch of old newspapers, wheat pasted together. A message had been hastily smeared on it. Keep out. Danger. Danger due to cave-in. I could still feel a faint impression of the rope I had slid down as I pressed against the heavy metal door. It was probably for the best that I hadn't jumped. The ache in my leg was bad enough as it was. If I could have, though, I would have run straight out of those awful tunnels. Who would keep such a place? At least I thought I had found that old handgun. It seemed to work, and from the smell of it, it had been used already. I kept the gun in my pocket. It seemed like a familiar weight there. An exposed ventilation shaft. Maybe someone crawled through there, but it was so high up that must have been a sore landing. There was dirt on the ground. It looked wet, and there was grass smeared within it. Got home from the store. Noise, noise. I could hear a faint trickling sound, like water. What was that? A kitchen knife, covered in drying blood. Think about it, made me sick. I didn't even want to touch it. Did I take the knife? Sure? I slipped the knife in my boot since I had the gun in my pocket. Did I really need all this? I mean, maybe. I don't know. What the hell was that? I wasn't sure what those valves were for. Did I turn it anyway? I wasn't sure what those valves were. Did I turn it anyway? This one wasn't pumping water anymore. I think I did that right. You got spooky nuggets? I have to admit, I've never heard of spooky nuggets before. The door was locked. There was a musty smell from inside. I wasn't sure, but I thought it was some kind of regulator. I had no idea how it worked. There was a rusty ladder sunk into the water, which smelled disgusting. I knew I couldn't climb down that. Maybe I could find a way to drain the putrid water. Oh, okay, so I gotta do the valve pipes. Did that work? Nope. By the way, Grim, I saw you did 20 bits earlier. Did it work on the boss? Did that actually work? Okay. So 1 and 4 I can't mess with anymore. So 3, I guess. Ah. Oh, okay, so I just kept turning it. Keep turning it. There we go. It did work? Okay, cool. Gotta make sure everything works. Half the time it doesn't. There we go. Looked like the water drained out of that grate in the wall. There was a small metal key left floating in the shallow pool of rancid water. Did I take it? I pocketed the small key, but it was so odd-shaped I had no idea what it might open. The safety poster had definitely seen better days. How old was that facility? The door was locked. I could see a faint light within. I got a feeling this key goes back to the door up above. This one door was locked up here, so maybe this key goes to that door. There was a musty smell from inside. So this key doesn't work? Huh. Okay. Guess not. Alrighty then. I just realized my camera's a little... Okay. Door was locked. Faint light within. There was a security camera in the room. There must have been a way to see what had happened. I found another dead body, a sewer worker. By the wounds all over his face and body, I figured he'd been stabbed repeatedly. There was a keyring sticking out of the man's pocket. Did I take it? I thought about the knife I had found with some disgust. As I carefully picked the keys from his pocket, I was almost worried he was going to grab me. I used the keyring to unlock the door. The shelf full of security tapes was strictly organized, though covered in dust. Must have been old if they were still using VHS. Odd, one of the tapes was missing. The security desk was dusty, and there was a dirty coffee cup there. The VCR looked like it still worked. Tried a bunch of the keys on the keyring I'd found on that sewer worker, and one of them seemed to fit. A collection of stale liquor bottles covered the floor. The wall was littered with dozens of old faded papers. Whoever did this was obsessed with some local murders. According to some of the clippings, bodies had been found in ravines in the forest and, in one case, dumped in the back of an abandoned truck. Could be sure, but I thought some of these same articles had also been pasted up back in those tunnels. Faded receipt was half trampled on the floor. It was from the local train station and was for 2 tickets. I didn't know what use it could be, but did I keep the receipt? Neatly folded the soiled receipt and slipped it into my front pocket. I feel like having all this evidence in my pockets is gonna backfire against me. I mean, I've got a handgun, a knife with blood on it, a receipt, a train. Very funny. No, I was... No. The atomic bomb explosion sound was less ear explosive than the freaking steam valve. I could smell a hint of fresh air here. Was I close to the exit? I was anxious to leave, especially after seeing what I had, but was there more? This must have been the other end of that ventilation shaft. Whoever used it could have gotten past that flooded room with this.
God damn! I thought it was a bomb for sure!
Right? The weight of the arsenal I had collected only aggravated the injury to my leg as I slowly climbed the ladder. Who hid all those newspaper clippings away in that locked room? As I limped to the top, I found a latch I couldn't see. Cracked it open with my one free hand. Pushed open the heavy lid above me, and suddenly I smelled the clear scent of what seemed like a forest. There's eyes in the darkness. An old ladder leading up to the ancient water tower. The ladder needed to be extended so I could climb it. Did I extend the ladder? I popped the latch and brought the ladder down. Tried the little key I had fished out of the murky puddle in the sewers. It fit, and I heaved the door open. The wind was picking up a bit. The night air had becoming strangely chilly. The old train station was quiet as a tomb. The only sound was that of the increasing wind buffing the decrepit structure. An old... Yeah. An old ticket booth that looked fairly ruined. Inside the ticket window were sheets of paper and... Wait, what were these? Train receipts? I thought the receipt I had picked up might match these, but of course not. This station had been closed for years. The ticket must have been for the newer station that opened up on the other side of town, after this one was abandoned. However, I noticed a series of fresher-looking paper covered in tiny notes, scribbles, and diagrams. Investigate potential travel plans. Achievement unlocked. Tombs, tickets, mutants, Aldwych, Ludsgate, Ludsgate. An old map encased in glass hung on the wall. It was the train routes connected to that old station. As I looked at it, it seemed familiar. Of course, the map I found in those tunnels had similar locations marked. And the notes I found on the other man's bookshelf. His notes mentioned the water tower and even this train yard. What was he doing? Coming back here? The old train was ripped open, and hanging from a shred of metal, as well as the broken fence, was a dark-stained patch of cloth. It looked synthetic, like some kind of outerwear. Inside the train's shell, I could see a few faint impacts, like wounds. Could they have been bullet marks? Was somebody shot there? The ground was well worn, but I couldn't really make anything out. I realized I was touching the gun I had found, as I thought. Okay, I guess that was it for this area. Brace for him. This is cute and not scary. We come across a few scary things about it. This must have been the entrance to the forest that it was mentioned on that map I had seen. Whoever was poking around in those tunnels underneath that man's house had scribbled notes on this place, but I couldn't make them out. Here, the sign pointed out various campsites and walking paths within the woods. It mentioned a river and maybe a washroom, but the rest was too faded to see clearly. How's it going, Celestia and Zero? What's going on? Starlight? Hopefully it worked. We were having some issues with it earlier. Through the fence, I could see a dilapidated outbuilding. I wonder if I could find my way around. The new episode for Loki? Nice. You are the asshole. It's funny you did that soundbite and then Celestia showed up. I hear things rustling around. There were some personal effects shoved back into the rock. Wait, there was a notebook there too. Did I read it? Inside the cheap dollar store notebook was page after one page of names and lists. None of it made much sense. The newest page contained several names. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, Rachel. Rachel? Her name was last on the list and had a mark beside it in blue ink. The names Daphne and Olivia had been crossed out in the same blue ink. Cheryl, Heather, and Rose had also been crossed out. Wow, Cheryl, Heather, and Rose, huh? Cheryl, Heather, and Rose. Where have I heard those three names before? Yeah, Daphne Sexy Shiv. The Goblin Rogue. Who are all those names? I could only think about how much I needed to get home to make sure Rachel was okay. Yeah, this game's got a very pixely, cutesy art style, but it does have some horror elements to it. I wouldn't say horror, maybe like scary. Not necessarily horror. Just kind of like scary. Nothing's really jumped out and got me yet. Except for those bats. What's up, Bethany? The steam got me. Kind of. It was louder than the atomic bomb. In a patch of smeared dirt and grass, there was a beat-up old wallet. I thought it was mine. Did I take it? I slid the filthy wallet into my back pocket. I noticed it didn't contain any kind of gun permit. In fact, it didn't contain any cards or ID of any kind. I thought I should recover my credit card and driver's license at least. From the railing, I could see over the woods and down in the entrance of the sewers. Had I come through there before? If it had, someone definitely could have seen me. By the way, guys, this is game number 441 on the channel. Wait, do I go back to the sewer? I feel like I don't go back. $500 by the end of the month. It's possible. Trampling in dirt and grass was a plastic card of some kind. I brushed it off and was surprised to see it was my credit card. I wasn't sure if it was still usable, but it was mine. Did I take back my credit card? I pocketed the credit card. Hopefully I could find my driver's license too. Few embers still burned within the fire pit. Who was camping here? Was it... Who else was out there in those woods? There was a cheap two-person dome tent. Through the screen on the front, I could see 2 sleeping bags, backpacks, and a small cooler. As I peered into the tent and around the campsite, I kept thinking about the names in that book. The grimy sink had a small patch in it that looked almost clean. A musty wooden plank propped up the stall door. It didn't really seem useful. Did I bother to take it? Wasn't sure why, but I took the plank. The washroom stall was filthy and disgusting. I wanted to get away as quickly as possible. The sign was the same as the first one I had seen. This must have been the exit to the other side of the woods. I'd finally found the exit. Once I left, I knew I never wanted to return there. Through the dense trees, I could finally start to see some light. I must have been at the edge of the forest, though I wasn't sure where the path ahead of me led. I could almost feel the cryptic notebook in my pocket as I tried to think about what it could mean. And where were the campers who had abandoned their site? Would I meet them too? Though the path ahead of me was less dense, I still felt guarded and wary. Who knew what was ahead? Scary. As I stepped through the gate, I suddenly recognized the auto parts factory where I had worked as a machinist for all those years. The plant had closed almost 3 years ago now. Times were better then. Thought I could hear a faint rustling behind me. Maybe it's just the wind. One of the lockers hung open. Its contents were tossed around like someone had been looking for something.
You gotta believe!
There was a large power box with 5 lights on it. Cables burst out of the box, snaking off to other parts of the factory. The metal was starting to wear, and cobwebs had collected on the corners. The box wasn't receiving power. The door was locked tight. It seemed to be connected to the power box beside it. There was a little electronic box under the handle. A sign was pasted to the front that said, "Danger, closed for repairs." You gotta believe. That's what Spyro says. Oh my god, it's a dead body. I found the body of a security guard, just doing his job, no doubt. His face was covered with blood from some kind of head wound. I wondered, was this flashlight his? Dug into the ground was a cracked old watch. First my wallet, and now this. Did I retrieve my watch? The watch was useless, but I put it on my wrist anyway. I wish I could remember. Why was all my stuff missing? Weird. Why is my stuff scattered all over these areas? Every part of this plant smelled old and rotted. I noticed the old bulletin board on the wall. The board contained yellow clippings of newspaper cartoons and notices. There were notes to and from the guys that worked here. One of them was to Norman, who was one of the older guys on the line. Our old break table. The layer of dust and grime only made seeing this sting more. Boop, 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 boop. A power panel. Looked like it was shut off. Did I push the switch? The open locker was stuffed with dirty work clothes and old boots. There was a photo of a woman taped to the inside, but it was scratched out, and the face was unrecognizable. Power. There was a rusty-looking card slot on the side. Power.
Power up.
Power up. Did I try it again? Now it's on. So I need the card for up here. Power up. When are we going to try to do Altered Beast again? Door had been hastily boarded up. Soon, I hope. This was Norman's locker. The door was dented like someone had punched it. I don't remember him doing that when we worked there. Another panel that I hoped could help me get the power back on. Did I push the switch? A utility shelf crammed with mismatched tools and items. There was a claw hammer on the shelf. Did I take the hammer? As I took the hammer, I noticed it wasn't as dusty as the rest of the tools on the shelf. The locker was a complete mess. Hidden at the bottom, though, was a magnetic card. Did I take the card? Slipped the key card into my pocket. Here, take this key card. You can open up the doors in the halls with this. Power on. Yeah, good thing my jeans have enough pockets for all this stuff. Hammers, planks, cards, pictures, flashlights, guns, knives. Yup. I struck with the hammer. The old wooden boards came apart easily. After I had removed the planks, I left the hammer on the floor. This was my locker, there in the factory. It stank of booze. There was a picture of Rachel on the inside. It looked like it had been torn up. I thought I had taken that picture home when the factory closed. There was a mess of empty booze bottles. I wondered if that man in the house had something to do with this. He sure had a lot of alcohol at his place. The keycard I found seemed like it would pass through this reader. Did I use the keycard? Slid the card through the old reader and turned the handle. There was some kind of ventilation hatch there. It looked like I could jump to the room below. My leg hurt enough as it was, but I couldn't see another option. Did I jump? Sure, I guess. Oh man, my leg hurt like hell. There was a crumpled up letter on the floor. It had been scratched out heavily and it was hard to make out. Did I try to read the letter? Most of the letter was violently scratched out with what looked to be a ballpoint pen. All I could make out was blank need to. Just don't drinking need Norman. Who was Norman writing to? I stepped out of the factory, glad to be rid of its smell, of its memories. I couldn't stop thinking about that room with the bottles in it. Was that guard I found outside really drinking up there? What about Norman? And who rooted through all those lockers? I couldn't tell where I was as I looked around, but I figured I needed to get to a road, get my bearings. Maybe Norman could help. His store wasn't that far from the turnoff to the factory, if I remember correctly. Everything is so conveniently... Everything is so conveniently next to each other. in this game. The garbage bin was a disgusting mess of rotten food in slick black bags. I saw a thin greenish corner poking out from one of the bags. It was my driver's license. It looked damaged. Did I take it back? Cleaned the card off as best I could. It looked pretty beat up. I was amazed to have found my credit card and now this. I tucked the card in my wallet next to my credit card. Sounded like it was going to start raining again. Good. I had entered Norman's place. This was the back of the store that he ran. It was oddly quiet, except for the faint sound of a television. Entrance to the front of the store was locked from the inside. I feel like I couldn't just pop it open. Needed a key. There was a bit of blood on the keyhole. Oh, great. Uh-oh. There's blood outside the door. The TV still flickered some indecipherable channel. Ah! Oh no, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Norman, my coworker and one of the few friends I had in this town, lay dead beside his armchair. His face and shirt were covered in blood, like he'd been shot trying to get up. His eyes were still wide with shock. Norman, you deserve better than this. Did I close his eyes? Wasn't sure if I wanted to give him peace, or if I just couldn't stand to think anymore about what was going on. Quickly, I closed Norman's eyes. Sure, touch the body. I guess this was Norman's kitchen table. He kept it clean enough, but there were water rings from 2 cups still there in the wood. The kitchen trash bin smelled fresh. I didn't dig through that mess, did I? Found a hairpin amongst the rotting food and trash and pocketed it. Okay, you guys want to know my assumption of what's going on in this game? I think I have this game figured out, but I'm sometimes wrong. So I think I went around and killed everybody, but he has amnesia and can't remember because his wife was having an affair with this Norman guy. That's my guess. Despite the shock of already finding Norman in that state, seeing this turned my stomach just as much. It was one of Rachel's old fault. What was it doing there? Was she okay? Inside the cabinet was a small but impressive collection of hunting rifles, shotguns, and even a few items I didn't think were legal here. One of the slots in the rack was empty. The gun I had found seemed to match the others there. If the handgun was Norman's, what the hell was he doing with it? The gun would fit there. Did I place it back in the cabinet? Carefully pushed the piece back in place and felt a great burden lifted. Close call. Discard a deadly item. Jekyll and Hyde, kind of, yeah. Or he just had like a murderous raging outburst and just can't remember that he killed this guy. Used the hairpin to pick the lock. The hairpin snapped in half, so I threw it away. The general store was small, but it was clean. It had the usual things: postcards, snacks, magazines, and canned goods. Never went there much. Rachel usually stopped by after work if we needed anything. The register was mostly empty, and a fat stack of travel magazines sat beside it. The icebox seemed to be unplugged. It must have been off for a while. Most of its contents were half melted. There were various postcards from the area, especially from the tourist traps. One of the postcards showed an old black and white photo of the water tower. Looked to be in much better shape then. Norman was dead, but I had no idea why. Was he involved in all this somehow, or was he just another victim? That gun I had found only seemed to complicate matters. It was such a relief to finally be rid of it. Home wasn't far off now. Even though the rain was relentless, I had to keep going. It was locked. This wasn't the right gate. This wasn't my house. So, this is my house. Speaking of my house, is myhouse.wad, is that technically considered a horror game? Or does it not have anything to do with horror? The neighborhood's local postbox, a letter was sticking out, as if someone hadn't pushed it all the way in. I knew it wasn't right, but did I look at the letter? There was no return address, but the envelope was addressed to Norman. Carefully, I tore it open and looked at the letter inside. It read, "Stay away, she's mine." That was it. No signature, no other information. Yeah, I bet my guy doesn't remember writing that, does he? This one was locked. It was me. I'm the killer all along. I had entered our backyard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding, and it chilled me through my clothes. I was expectant, but also afraid. I made it back to my house. Where's my wife? I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was terrified to step inside. The house was painfully quiet. The only sound was my own breathing, ragged and strained. I flicked the light switch by the door. The power was off. I remembered having breakfast here on this very table. Was that yesterday or sometime before? Door to the basement. It was locked. Where had I put the damn key? There was a small pile of mail on the floor in front of the mail slot. How long had I been away? Why hadn't Rachel picked this up? Most of the contents were bills. There was a credit card bill there. Did I open it? I ripped the bill open and read it. To my surprise, it said something about canceling my credit card due to non-payment. What the hell? Front door was locked from inside. I couldn't go out, though. I needed to see if Rachel was here. Door was stuck shut. There was an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. I had found the last missing piece from my wallet. The old photo of Rachel and I stared back at me, reminding me of better times. Didn't make me feel terribly comfortable. Did I keep it anyway? I replaced the photo in my wallet, feeling like I had got part of my life back. Still, the image made me uneasy. Why had I thrown it away? Stolen it. Recover the pieces of your wallet. Our television. I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt pretty guilty about it afterward, but by then it was too late. When I unlock Steam achievements, can you guys hear that sound? That. Okay. The books there were half mine, half Rachel's. Hey, now that I look more closely, it looked like the man in that house had some of the same books as I did. There was a suitcase on the bed. It was Rachel's. I remembered it from that trip we took out west. Did I open the suitcase? Wasn't sure what to make of the suitcase's contents. Inside were a few days' worth of clothes, some toiletries, and a train ticket. Checked the date and time. It matched the receipt I found back in those horrible sewers. What was this? Rachel, who were you running away with? Or who were you running away from? Bum, bum, bum. Our hallway mirror had been smashed, its pieces scattered around the floor. Our sink, which needed to be replaced. One of the taps always stuck, but I hadn't got around to fixing it yet. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those wonderful old claw-footed bathtubs. laptop had been left on and only had a tiny bit of power left. On the screen was a website about the old water tower. There was a key in the top drawer of my desk. Did I take it? Pocketed the key. There was another locked door. Where was that? Oh, I think it was on the right side. Oh, here we go. Oh. This must be the basement key then. There were old Christmas decorations in the box. The garbage bags were stuffed with old paint cans and supplies. There was a dirty old key here. Did I take the key? I took the small key and tried to remember what it unlocked. There were old clothes, tools, and other things we obviously hadn't thrown out yet. I had put up this divider wall last summer so we could create a separate room in the basement. I hadn't finished it yet, so the door was stuck and the drywall was poorly installed. Might have been able to break through if I found something heavy enough. A pack rat? Maybe. Let's see, what door was it this one? The grimy key I'd found in the basement unlocked the door. It looked like the room had been tossed around. The furniture was a mess. Did somebody break in here? There was an old crowbar on the floor. Did I need to take the crowbar? Lifted the heavy crowbar. I appreciated its weight. Time to see what's on the other side of the basement wall. What's on the other side of the basement wall? What do you guys think is on the other side of the basement wall? What could it be? What could it be? Oh, what could it be? What could be on the other side of the basement wall? Let's find out and see. As I stepped to the broken wall, my breath caught in my throat. This was it. Was Rachel down here? Was she okay? A filthy-looking pile of rags had been dumped in the corner. The stench of them was awful and made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile to see what lay within, but I knew I had to. I had to come this far. After all this searching, after all I'd seen, when I looked within the rags, did I finally find my Rachel?
Where's the gas?
Wait, it's my decision if my wife is in there? What kind of question is this? I mean, what if I say no? Rachel wasn't there. The rags were wet, matted, and covered in dirt and grime, but inside that tattered mess was no sign of my beloved wife. Rachel wasn't there. I looked around in confusion, trying to figure out what to do next. If she wasn't there, where was she? What I had been searching for this entire time. I remembered the look on Rachel's face when I came home, didn't I? Then the awful realization hit me right in the gut. I had been looking at this the wrong way, hadn't I? This is what you've been trying to tell me all along, isn't it? I couldn't find Rachel there, and I won't find her anywhere else because she was never there at all, was she? Stumbled back upstairs, the pain in my leg just dull ache now, and sat down in our bedroom. My mind was spinning, and the ache I felt before was near crippling. Finally, I could no longer fight the exhaustion, and as I tried to grab a hold of something that would make sense of all this, I must have drifted off. Maybe this wasn't what you thought at all. I like to remember things my own way. I guess these books were all actually mine then. It was my wallet with its contents intact. Either I dropped that stuff or somebody else did. Maybe I was sleepwalking again, or maybe somebody stole it from me. Norman's store, that forest, the water tower, was I at those places before? No. No, there was no way that was me out there. I woke up in that house, remember? I wasn't off in any damn forest. Yeah, no, that wasn't me. How could that have been me? No, that wasn't me. What do you mean that was me? That wasn't me. I never had a wife. Nah. The old photo of the man and his wife still rattled me despite being faded and dirty. Thought I had seen mentions of us in those tunnels, but was I wrong? What was that man up to? Did I think he was responsible for me waking up in that house? No. I didn't think so. He was a victim too, and he was already dead when I came to. Yeah, exactly. In the shards of that broken mirror, I could see my face, gaunt now, hollow and sickly and immensely troubled. What other illusions had I dreamed up? What other truths were waiting to be exposed? If you say yes, you do find her body there? It was the keycard I found in the factory, the one that allowed me to slip through the damn door. It seemed to me that it was probably Norman's, but if that was true, what was he doing back at the plant? Did I think Norman was going back to the factory? Yes. Must have been him. He must have been using the old locker room. Yeah. It was all somebody else. Laptop had finally run out of power. Wasn't me. No. I don't know what you're talking about. How could it be me? There's no way. Dirty faded glass, I look like nothing more than a faint shadow.
No, man. Shit,
I used to tell myself that Rachel was the one who wanted to keep the tub. Who's Rachel? I don't know any Rachel. It was the letter I had taken from the postbox. It had gotten a bit wet in the rain. Somebody had obviously had it out for Norman, but who? Oh no, Norman. If I was wrong about Rachel, then what about him? Did I kill him? No. I couldn't have. I clearly wasn't seeing things correctly, but no. I could never do something like that. That note wasn't from me. Of course not. I had that old TV for so long I don't know if I could ever replace it. This wasn't me. It wasn't me. It's like that Shaggy song. It wasn't me. My old office safe sat on the floor. It used a digital passcode lock. Did I try to open it? What was that damn code again? 8-digit code? No, that wasn't it. Damn, I couldn't remember. Yeah, I don't know what it is. 8 names written alongside those odd marks in different colors were printed in that notebook. Wait, 8-digit code, 8 names? HOAC IDHR. Was the man in that house really up to something? What was it? Let's see. Let's someone type it out. Oh crap. It won't let me do it. Uh-oh. What did I say it was? Ah, crap. Did someone get that? HOAC IDHR. Ah, dang it. Good attempt. And for a good attempt. Ah, crap. Well, it won't let me view the names again, unfortunately. Time to run back to the stream. Time to check the VOD, or just Google it, I guess. Seemed like I had seen all there was. Maybe I thought I was ready to go back into the basement. Why would I want to go back to the basement? There's nothing to see there. Pile of mail on the floor. I now saw was addressed to me. Bills, credit card offers, letter from the bank. They were all addressed to me. That was it. With Rachel gone, I couldn't stand to be in that house a moment longer. Did I leave and say goodbye to that nightmare forever? No, not yet. I didn't deserve to go, not just yet. Maybe there wouldn't be anything for me to find, but I had to take a last look. If I was guilty, I could take this to a warm, safe place and do something about it. Did I pick up the knife? Nah. No, there were other means of dealing with this. The wall was cracked and pitted. I was told by an inspector the basement had been partially filled in before I bought the house. But by the look of that wall, I was going to need to fix the foundation. Wait, do I need the knife? I can't bust through the wall. Everything smelled musty and old down there. I need like a crowbar or something. How many breakfasts had I eaten there completely alone? Must have locked the door. There was no reason to return to the backyard anyway. I think the crowbar was in this room on the right. Oh, maybe the crowbar's in the vault? Let's see. HAOCIDRH. No, that wasn't it. Alright, I'm gonna I'll Google it. Let's see. Oh wow, that's an interesting password. I don't think it has anything to do with that. You got it? All right, since you went through the work of finding it, we'll try it. We'll see if it works. But I think it's something else. I mean, it might work. Who knows? The fact that there's 8 names with, and the combination's 8 is kind of a weird coincidence. HOACIDHR. Oh, that's what Infra said the first time. Yeah, that's not it. That's not the solution. Well, there you go. Infra got it on the first try. Good work. Good work. All right, it's actually this. Are you here? Oh, wait, what? Does it need to be in all caps? There was a poorly framed photo of what looked to be a small headstone in a graveyard. It was tucked away peacefully under a beautiful maple tree. Underneath it was another sheet of paper. This looks like some kind of MRI printout. It showed the top view of a brain scan. I noticed the bottom of the scan had two whitish patches on it. I didn't recognize either image. Finally, at the bottom of the pile was a simple white envelope. The front of it read, "Do not open until I tell you." Guess this was a good time as any to see what was inside. Did I open the envelope and read what was inside? Tore open the envelope and removed the yellow lined paper inside. On it was a letter written in a hand that looked familiar. The letter read, "I know this whole event has probably been pretty difficult. You can't imagine how hard it's been for me, too. Well, maybe you can. That isn't meant to be an excuse, but, well, I hope you can better understand why I've done what I've done. Moving to this town seemed like such a dream. Quiet place to get established, to live out our lives and to be together. But you know as well as I do that things quickly change. Your drinking was one thing, but as you grew more distant, as you retreated into that world of yours, well, it was clear you didn't need me as much. In fact, maybe you never needed me at all, but it took all this to make you realize. In the end, though, you may never forgive me for this. You may never forgive yourself, but this is probably for the best. You'll be healthier for this. I'm just sorry it had to happen this way, Rachel." Wait, she left me? So I didn't kill her? Or she was trying to leave me and I killed her before she could. So I can't open the basement? Game has multiple endings. If I was guilty, I could take this to a warm, safe place and do something about it. Did I pick up the knife? I guess. I took the knife and kept it firmly in my hand. Can I open the wall with it? One of many keys. None of them work. I knew I needed to escape that nightmare, but what about the knife I still carried? I wondered, even if I left, would it really be over? So did I leave that house forever? I mean, I've explored everywhere I can explore. Peered at the knife as I turned away, a warm place. I had thought, where could that be? Wait, am I trying to kill myself? I think I can just leave. In the dirty faded glass, I looked like nothing more than a faint shadow. It would probably do. You showed me the truth. I wasn't sure there was any reason to keep on going. So what do you think? Shouldn't I just end this misery? Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa! Whoa. 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 Time out. Time out. Damn. Damn. I'm gonna knife myself in the bathtub? Damn. So wait.
Well, we're not here to sell cookies.
I mean, it is Halloween. This would be more of a...
Is this too easy for you?
This is the more Halloween ending than just probably leaving out the front door. So should we do it? Should we do this just for Halloween's sake? If this is what I'm thinking?
We'll all be dead by the time you solve this.
No, this guy's about to be dead. As soon as we solve this. You know what? For Croketober, we'll do this ending. If this is what I'm thinking that he's talking about. He's alluding to here. Since I had arrived
You don't suppose that's just a regular frog?
Absolutely not. Since I arrived in town, things have been difficult. Working the plant, though, had been good for me. Kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get away from my past. When the factory closed, everything changed. I guess that was when I had started sleepwalking, disappearing for a few hours at a time. Drinking was probably just a way to deal with that. It was almost as if I was trying to beat my brain at its own game. Things stopped making sense after some time after that. My memories of what happened are still in flux. I suppose that was when Rachel came along. This night had been the worst of my entire life. Would it even be possible to bounce back from everything that had happened, everything I'd seen? You know, in a way, I almost wish I hadn't even woken up tonight. Would have spared me a lot of pain. What had happened to the other man I found in that old house? Had I killed him? Is that why I was locked in that room? Or did you? And what was hidden within those sewers I had found? The tunnel to the man's house obviously led there, but was there something I missed? Was I so busy worrying about Rachel that I was blind? You know, I didn't know who had taken my wallet, but I knew it wasn't me who had been all over town, at least at Norman's or in that forest. I don't care what you think. I may be mad, but it wasn't me. There were plenty of other people to blame for this. Why don't you start thinking about them instead? The forest, though, was no escape either. That notebook especially left me troubled. Remember seeing a similar list on that desk back in the tunnels. Who were the girls mentioned there? I suspected there was more to those woods than I knew, though I had no intention of going back. It was clear, at least, that Norman had been going back to the old plan. Had he been the one to steal up that room? Was he drinking up there alone? I thought perhaps he had something to do with that dead guard. But now you've got me all mixed up. I'm not even sure what makes sense anymore. I had to catch my breath to take it all in. At each point until the factory, things had only gotten worse. But then going to Norman's store, that's where the confusion and doubt started to set in. That's when my perspective on this really started to change. Ah, Norman, I don't know how you got mixed up in all this, but someone had killed you. My head was a mess. Everything ached and was foggy. Not froggy. So I don't know if you deserve what you got in the end. We were friends once, weren't we? Did you know about all this? Did you know what Rachel was? But as painful as all that was, oh no, I couldn't bear to think about it again. After all I'd seen and done, finally coming home was supposed to be the end to this entire ordeal. I had no idea, though, that it was only the beginning. The silence in the house when I had first stepped through the kitchen door, that should have been my first clue. To think that I went through all that completely unaware of what I would discover. Did you know before the end? Did you mock me when you finally showed me the truth? You don't know what it's like to have everything ripped away from you in a heartbeat. What is going on right now? How could I possibly go on now knowing what I do? Without Rachel, even the thought of Rachel, I was truly lost. I drew a warm bath in the old tub and undressed. I wonder how many times I'd done this before and thought about doing what we're about to do now. Don't look away. It's actually really easy, really peaceful. See, I just keep my arms in the water as I make the cuts. It stings. All right, stop. It stings, but I can't really feel anything after that. Really, I'm just getting tired now. I have to thank you. This hasn't been easy, but you were right. This was the only way. No! Stop. I made a mistake. No. Mistakes were made. No. I changed my mind. End your story in the bathroom. Achievement unlocked. Jesus. Wow. So I think another option was just to leave. I can either do that. I can leave out the front door and pretend nothing ever happened, and then I can choose that it is my wife down in the basement, and I guess I killed her. So there's 3 different storyline endings. I feel like I chose the most horrific ending, honestly.